All right, it's time for the finals. The Goldie Roger that we saw earlier in the tournament ended up making it to this final round, to the championship stage. We'll see how it fares, maybe against Imu in the show match. There's also Zoro and Imu and the Aces facing off in a mirrors for the Japan Autumn Cup 3v3 finals. Thank you so much for joining me on the channel. My name is Jake. If you're liking the stream or if you're liking the video that you're watching afterwards, please consider subscribing. We are less than 500 subscribers away from 20,000, which is kind of crazy. And if you're watching live on Twitch, make sure to follow as well. Listen, if you're itching for a brand new playmat, now is the time to check out Nen Garden, the sponsor of this video. Not only do they have brand new pre-orders up on their website for Chaos Crew, Green Fury, and the Absolute Ruler designs, which by the way, are phenomenal. But if you're a little indecisive or want a little bit of mystery in your life, check out their new promotion this month only for the Halloween Mystery Playmat sale. You not only get a random playmat at a discounted price, but on top of that, you get a free 10-card sleeve set alongside your order in this promotion. Plus, if you want a ton of other great accessories that aren't just playmats, they've got the King of Hearts t-shirt, matching pin, other pins alongside of it through the whole cake island, and even stickers. Make sure with whatever you want in Nen Garden, use my code Atrocious for 8% off. The link to their website is in the description below. Thank you so much for Nen Garden for sponsoring the video, and let's get back to that video. We've got the Zoro in here. So the Zoro, I believe, is facing off against Imu in this final matchup. So we caught a little bit of the tail end on the live stream in the top 16 round of a Zoro Imu matchup, right? Zoro very threatening, right? Being able to remove bodies, but also be able to swing at life, has made it a forefront in this game, right? Facing off against Imu. We just saw in the top 4 match how crazy Imu can be with the different plays that they can make, even with cards countering against it. So we'll have to see if this Imu can masterfully guide himself to a win in this game. But first, both players opting for a mulligan. The Zoro going first in this game, and the Imu playing out the empty throne stage. We start out with the Zoro's hand. He's got a couple cards in here that I find very interesting, right? One, the new PRBO2 Zoro, right? Nice 4 cost that was added into this deck. Oh my gosh, and already moving away, we saw Trafalgar Law, Dracul Mihawk in there as well. We'll talk about those later. The Imu has the 5 Elders Searcher event. You've got the Mary Joie, I was told by chat on how to pronounce that in the last tournament, and also 10 Elders and a little bit of counter as well in the hand. Chat, here we go. It's time for the finals. I'm ready for bed. It's 3:45 a.m. by me, but we've got a fabulous game to watch on this one. Gonna pass off the turn on one. No 1-drop Perona Searcher or anything like that. The Imu going off with the leader effect, just getting rid of that Mary Joie, right? Gets rid of a dead card in the hand, and now uses the Elder Searcher. Is going to be nice, but finds no elders right there except for the Saint Charla, right? Celestial Dragon, as the 5 Elders finds Celestial Dragons. And so now using the Saint Charla effect is going to do one more search before pitching a card from hand. See a Shirahoshi going into the trash. Shirahoshi, a very common option in this deck that a lot of players love, especially as a 2K of choice. So ends up grabbing that and then pitching the 6-cost Elder from the hand. I believe that is Marcus Mars. And now moving on to Zoro's turn at 3 Dawn. Could go ahead, swing 5 at lead, and try and play out the 3-cost Mihawk, right? The 3-cost Mihawk could be nice to get that Zoro on the field as a blocker, even though it comes in as arrested, right? But that would be playing 2 2Ks on the field. So a little bit awkward of a hand, in my opinion, for the Zoro. Just going to swing 8, try to put this guy down to 3. We see in the Zoro hand picking up a Scratchman Apu, right? Scratchman Apu actually very common in the OP13 format for Zoros and their 2K options. So Imu going ahead and starting out with his leader effect on the 4 Dawn turn. ends up having a couple more searchers in the hand, so might just go ahead, swing 7 or so, and then just continue in going on the searches. Might even go with the 1 search, and if he finds something like the Saturn right on here, does not actually, just finds the 1 cost event. I was going to say if he found a Saturn, it'd be nice to use the empty throne stage to be able to play that out onto the field and maybe swing 5, but now pivoting the game plan, probably going to see another Charla pitched onto the field, but you got to get rid of something first, right? Even though you grab something off of Shalria, I got to learn to pronounce that one correctly, the Saint Shalria, you do have to pitch 1 card from your hand after the search. So is a nice way to end up filtering, but not gain too many cards in hand, especially because Imu with that leader effect is a net gain a lot of times. Yeah, Mikey, the Shalria. I need to remember that. And so ends up pitching the 2 cost 2K right there, and then goes with another search on the dock. I think did end up finding I think that's the Saturn. I can't read the hiragana from here, or katakana. Ends up picking that up into the hand. Yes, that is the Saturn right there. And pitches off the 7 cost Jupiter off of the effect and just passes off the turn. Does not go ahead and swing 7. Does not want to add cards to the Zoro's hand and put him down to 4 life. The Imu now already at 12 cards in the trash. Very close already because of the plethora of searches to be able to get that plus 1K on the empty throne stage. The Zoro starting off with a Perona right here is going to be able to find the Zoro. This Supernova Zoro that came out in OP13 is a huge card and one of the best rares to come out of the set. It's essentially a mini Cavendish, right? If your leader has the Film or Straw Hat Crew types, set up to 2 of your Dawn cards as active as an on-play effect, and then at the end of turn, you can set this character as active. Does end up grabbing the Zoro. Is going to be nice to be able to play it out onto the field if he wants, but may go in with Dracul Mihawk right here. So Dracul Mihawk is going to be nice, right? Because you have 2 characters on field at the time that you play the Mihawk, you can play out that Zoro as rested, and because of that restanding effect of both the Dawn and the character at the end of turn, it's basically as if you played that Zoro as active. Just a super nice card. Super good synergy, not only in the Zoro deck, but Zoro Sanji, one of the ones that I've been loving on the channel lately and can't wait to try out in OP13 with all these new cards. Now the Imu going into his turn is going to start out with the leader effect. Find a nice 2K off of the draw. Is thinking about an empty throne to be able to get that Saturn onto the field and do a little bit more searching, as that's the searching 5 Elder. You definitely want to see, as you may see, they're showing on screen right now, the Marcus Mars. Marcus Mars, very good here to be able to get rid of that Zoro. That Zoro is going to be very, very pesky in the long run of this game because you can't swing at it as it restands constantly every single turn. Marcus Mars is going to be the only thing that gets rid of it at this point. So it looks like 16 cards in trash at this point for the Imu player. And I think you got to go in. He does have the Marcus Mars in the hand. The Marcus Mars could be played off of this empty throne. We'll see which one he chooses. It is going to be that. It looks like has to decide whether or not he wants to pitch the Shirahoshi or the other 2K Dragon. So with that on play, thinking in the trash how much he's actually got. The Zoro player already knowing that the Zoro is going down, preemptively pulling it off the table, is going to go ahead and pitch the Shirahoshi, getting to 17 cards in the trash. The Zoro going to be very nice to get rid of because now if he wants to swing at the Imu, he's going to have to attach Dawn to one of his 2 characters. So board control going to be huge in this game, and goes ahead and plays out that Celestial Dragon 2K, right? I actually don't know which one this guy is. Charurosu? Something along those lines, I think. And is going to pass off the turn from there. Still not swinging at the Zoro. Looking more towards a starve type of method, I think, on the Zoro right now. Just trying to, once these characters turn sideways, get rid of them and make the game go long. So no Tashigi on the field, right? Tashigi would be able to go ahead and rest the Marcus Mars, as Tashigi rests an original cost of 6 or less. You would be able to then use your leader effect as well to go on it, but does have a Cavendish on field. And so especially with the raw Marcus Mars that was played, you might actually be safe by playing out this Cavendish right now and going ahead and swinging big at lead. I do know that one of the Celestial, I don't know exactly why or when, but I know that one of the Celestial Dragons gets absolutely destroyed on a punch. Don't spoil it in chat, or else you're going to stub your toe for the next 3 nights in a row. Zoro, thinking about resting 3 Dawn, would be resting 3 Dawn with what I assume is Cavendish, right? Just skipping the restand of 2. And so actually ends up resting 6 with the Trafalgar Law. This is another great card that has been put in OP13. If you use the on play effect, you can return a character to your hand, and if you do, you can play a character with the cost of 5 or less from your hand as rested. So playing down that Cavendish as rested is going to attach the 3 Dawn to Zoro, now swing 8,000 power at lead. And so now the Imu, having to think about if he wants to take the life or not, is going to go ahead and take it, and the Cavendish is rested. The thing about the Trafalgar Law is that even though it plays the character as rested, if you have 1 or less life, the character gains blockers, so a really good late game card. But unfortunately for the Zoro right here, the Imu is now at 19 cards in the trash, so the plus 1,000 power is active to the leader, but can't protect the Cavendish if you decide to swing at it. I believe he has 19 in trash now. So now is going to be a 6,000 power swing with leader potentially, but ends up first tapping for, is going to go ahead and get the Saturn going, is going to go with a search, maybe is looking for another Marcus Mars to be able to get a KO effect. Does not find it, but finds another Elder. Looks like Warcury is the one that was found there. It only took me a whole tournament, chat. I feel like I'm getting their alts down. Does have to think about how many cards he has left in deck. It looked like somewhere around like 20 cards, not including the search, so probably more around like 24-ish at this point. Is going to go ahead and get the 10 drop right. No, only one 10 drop in hand. You probably ideally play 2 in this scenario or in this game. Is going to go ahead and swing a raw 6,000 power at this Cavendish. So is going to have to command a card or allow it to be knocked out, one of the two. So is going to allow it to go. Did its job restanding some Dawn. So can go ahead and get out if he wanted to the Jupiter, right, with the empty throne stage. So is going to do that. The Jupiter is going to put all of those characters to 7,000 power, at least the Elders to a base power of 7,000. So now this Mars with the swing is going to go ahead 7,000 at lead. Zoro taking the first life. Is another 2K Scratchman to Poo. You don't really have anything to play, I feel like, at this point. You've got the Perona, but nothing really going on that you love. The Kuina is going to be fine, I guess. Oh, Chad, I think they just revealed another EBO3 card on Twitter. So the Perona going in, looking at that top 5. He does find a restand event and a Tashigi. The Tashigi going to be nice to be able to rest all of those different Elder bodies on the field and be able to get your leader effect off. More than likely. The only Elder that you actually can't touch with Tashigi is Jupiter. Chad, also, thank you so much to everybody who's been here. It's been an awesome stream. There has been a lot of you in here. I very much appreciate it, especially with the Japan Championships. I will stream every single Japan championship unless I'm like at a regional or something otherwise. So when there's a Japan championship, I will be providing English commentary as always, as I've been doing almost like 2 years now. So I think at this point, I think you have to play the Tashigi because I think you just need to establish bodies, right? I don't think there's a way that you can get like more bodies other than Tashigi on this turn, but you just like work in a future turn to be able to like play Cavendish and another body on the field at the same time. And so off the Perona is going to grab the 3-cost restand event. Luffy will be king of the pirates. Going to be nice to threaten in the future terms of the game. Passing up the Tashigi, I think is very interesting. I wonder, are you playing Kuina in this turn? No, is going with Scratchman Apu. The Scratchman Apu is going to be able on that on play to rest a 2-cost or less, which is going to go ahead and rest that Charlos. So now with the swing going at that, Marcus Mars is going to go ahead, claim the knockout. The one Don being attached to Law, 7,000 power at lead, the Equilibrium event coming down, and 3 attached to Dracula Mihawk, another 7 going in at lead. 7, the magic number in this one, is going to make Imu go down to 1 life, but the leader effect of Zoro coming in and getting 2 cards out of hand, 2 2Ks on that 8,000 power swing. Is going to go ahead with the swing at the Mihawk. It is going to be a 6,000 power swing, so going to let that Mihawk go. Don't need to counter out of it. Is going to go ahead now, swing the Saturn. Saturn now swinging at Law because with that Jupiter boost, it is a 7,000 power swing. Is going to have to force a 2K to come out of hand from the Zoro player. He's got plenty of 2Ks in hand already at this point. So which one do you want to get rid of? I think Kawamatsu a great option right now and is going to do exactly that. Imu now using the leader effect to be able to get rid of that card. Do not need the Saturn on the field anymore. Now with the Jupiter swing, going to swing 7,000 more than likely. I would assume because they'll probably play 10 drop on this turn, the Jupiter will go ahead and swing. But is going to go ahead with a quick search first. Is going to look at that top 5 with the Saturn. Still can do the 3. And ends up finding what I believe is the final Elder that he needed. The Nazjuro. Does he have one in trash already? I actually don't think he's had one in trash. I think there's like 3 of them in that search. There's 2 of them. But ends up going for the Workery instead. I would have thought he would have grabbed the one to complete all 5 of them, but I guess he had other plans. And so now going in with this 7,000 power swing at the Law, just needs another 2K yet again, is going to be that PRBO2 Zoro. Now the Empty Throne playing out the 10 drop and using the 1 to go ahead, pitch all of those cards. Only getting 4 Elders out right now, just valuing the search a lot more than the potential Nazjuro swing. It's interesting too because Nazjuro, right, you're putting 2 of them to the bottom of the deck. It's going to be, I mean, he did just find another one of those, but with the Nazjuro, right, you not only get rushed to maybe get rid of this Law, but on top of that, you can minus 2,000 power on the swing. Oh, he was missing them both. Oh, that makes sense. So he was just determining which one was better to get. Workery or the Nazjuro. Oh, okay, I see. For some reason, I thought he was only missing the 1. You still got 2 blockers on the field, the Marcus Mars and the Workery to be able to defend and a little bit of counter with some Dawn up on top of that. Dead Man's Game or Hody Jones would be huge right here. But the Zoro going to be going in, maybe thinking about playing either Tashigi or Kuina, right? One of those 2 would be able to rest these blockers. One of these 2 blockers. You could rest both blockers, actually, but you wouldn't be able to use your restand event. I still think you have time, though, as Zoro. Yeah, especially with how much he searched in the beginning. If he only had 4 of them at the time of that draw, that's just super unlucky. I mean, we saw the 3 Najjuros in like a, 6-card span? But the Zoros kind of had awkward hands as well. But looks like going to be playing the Tashigi to start out. The Tashigi is going to be able to rest one of these blockers and is going to be the Warcury to start. And now 3 Dawn attached from the Tashigi effect. It's going to be an 8,000 power leader swing. Interesting that he did not rest the Marcus Mars here. Maybe wanting to leave the 3. And so now a 10,000 power swing at lead is going to go ahead and take the life. Tap the 3 for the Luffy will be King of the Pirates to restand his leader. Swing another 10 and the block from St. Marcus Mars. He could go ahead and counter, right? He could go double event counter. That's a little scary, I feel like. But you don't have a 2K in hand. So you'd have to get rid of both of the counter cards that you have. The counter events is the easiest thing to get out of. You still have the law swing to think about. Yeah, like his starting hand was, Zoro's starting hand was really, really weird, but his draws helped him out a ton. So he is going to go with the counter event and 2 1Ks, basically signaling to his Zoro opponent, hey, I've got no 2Ks in hand at this point. And so Zoro, not having battled a character at all during the turn, is not going to be able to use that activate main to restand. Do you go ahead and swing with the law? He's just passing off the turn. Does not want this law to get KO'd by any effects, right? We know that Tashigi can be KO'd by the Marcus Mars, but law being a 6 cost. Now the Imu back into his turn. Imu getting that plus 1,000 power because of the your turn on the stage is going to have to force a 2K to get out of this swing. Or maybe he takes it. I mean, honestly, do you take it at this point? Because you're going to want restand events or Dead Man's Game, right? So is there a reason to just keep a poo in hand and just start taking a little bit of life? You don't want to take too much life, though, right? So is at least going to take the first one. It's going to be a restand event. So 7,000 power now with the Warcury. Definitely want to swing all of these bodies on field, especially if you plan on 10 dropping for a second turn in a row. Basically gets a ton of free swings before you set them back up as active. So does take that second swing right there. Now Imu using his leader effect to draw one. A nice counter event. You like the counter events. The 2-drop Koshiro not going to do anything in this battle. The one thing that you have to think about, especially as Imu right now, is what's at the bottom of your deck. If you go in with the 10-drop and you do a search, do you remember what's there? I'm pretty sure he's cycled at this point, right? And if not, he's pretty close. So then at that point, it is what cards have you not seen yet? Do you have a pretty good idea of what's in that top 5? Because he's only got, 12 cards? 11? So Zoro taking that life as well. It's going to be Hiyori, so that's at least a 1K counter as another 7K swing comes in. Law now turns into a blocker, right? Because the Zoro is at 1 or less life. Thinking about using the 0 cost event to get a clean 8 and pitching a card. Thinking about getting rid of the Koshiro. I like to get rid of Koshiro. You want to keep Hiyori in case you're trying to find something else right on this next turn. We have 40 seconds until overtime, chat. And so is going to go ahead, use the 0 cost event and the Koshiro to get out of that. Another 7,000 power swing. Only expecting 1 swing left. And still has the blocker law. So is going to take that final life. Looks like it's going to be a 1K Perona. You would love, ideally, if you could keep this law alive, right? So now we're hitting overtime. Hitting the overtime rules. If you go 6 and 4, you can get 2 more swings in, right? Just hard play the Zoro, swing 7, and then swing 7 again. You have to hope that he has like no counter in hand, right? Because he does have a blocker. I think this Imu's in trouble. Because also if you do that play, you have no Dawn open and you're so dead. Right? 1 restand event and you're dead. No, because you have 2 blocker. Wait, that's 3 swings on Law. You're dead. You have to leave Dawn open. So is going to go ahead with the 10 drop. Get out the 5 elders on the field. Almost put them all in the trash when they've just pretty much all been on the field already. Going in with the search. Does find another. I think those are actually 2 searcher events. So maybe thinking about just blockering up. Putting out another 4-cost Warcury blocker could be nice. And I think he did find a Warcury blocker in there. Because he can put out the Warcury blocker and still leave 2 open. Is going to go with the Searcher event. Does he know he has a 2K in there? Or a counter event? So is going to KO the Tashigi. Want to get rid of that body with the Marcus Mars effect. So ends up finding the Zoro. Just a 1K. You have to think about DMG here, right? So now swinging 8,000 power on this. 9,000 power with the extra add. Minusing 2 on the Law to make him a 4,000 power blocker. And he's just going to block. Passes off the turn. Here we go. 3 different swings. I think the Imu might have this. Because he's got a lot of counter events. But the Kuina coming in. The Kuina is going to rest the blocker. Actually, he may not be able to get out of this with the Kuina. Now attaching the rest of those 6 total now. 11,000 power swing. He's going to be able to get out of that first swing with the 2 different events. Now with the 3-cost event, Luffy will be king of the Pirates. Gonna swing another 11. Going to block, restand with the activate main, and get the game. The Zoro player coming out with the win, which was honestly a clunky start to the hand. Coming away with the victory there, piloting the deck and being able to value certain aspects of the cards like Tashigi and Kuina. Excellent, excellent job by both of our players and all of our finalists in this tournament. Well, it's not my tournament. I'm watching the official live stream. You can check that out in the description if you want to watch the later rounds, or if you want to hear my official commentary, you can go to the other ones on the channel, the other videos. But for YouTube, that's going to be all. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. The next Japan Championship should be in 2 weeks on the 25th or the night of the 24th for a lot of you, and the day of the 25th is going to be the Japan area finals. Thank you so much for watching. I am tired. It is 4:30 a.m. and I still have stuff to do before I go to bed, so I'm going to bed. Goodbye, YouTube video.